So hi, welcome to Good Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with...
And I'm Jack, and we are grade 2.
And we're going to have some questions today about the upcoming self-titled album. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you feel about the response to the announcement so far?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, we kind of staggered the announcement in kind of like a 60s way. So like the first 2 singles that we dropped, we didn't say that it was going to be part of a record. I mean, everyone kind of knows, but we gave them their own release and was like, this is the song, like this is it. And it wasn't until the 3rd single that it was like, okay, this is the album. The other 2 are a part of this record. I think doing it that way was quite cool. So it wasn't just like, here's a single, here's an album, that's it from us.
Yeah.
Goodbye. Like, kind of like talk with everyone, like post the release of each single, kind of like take on the feedback, communicate with everyone that was listening, and then kind of create this like build to the release. So a bit more dramatic than just like a normal album drop. So in that sense, it was nice. And I mean, like, we haven't released music now in a few years, like, so it's good in that sense to get communicating again with people, because we've been touring, but we've been touring a record that we released in 2019. But in the sense of the touring world, that was a new record because we never toured it.
Yeah.
So it's a thing to come back to after pausing for so long.
For sure. Well, the album rocks.
Oh, yes.
Oh, you guys heard it already?
Yep.
Oh, okay, sick.
Brilliant.
That's awesome. Yeah. So is there any meaning why this album is your self-titled, and is there any meaning behind the cover art?
Yeah, the self-titled decision was funny because at first we had no intention of it being self-titled, and we thought it was going to be an album title unique to itself. It wasn't going to be like a track title. So we were brainstorming all of these ideas while we were recording, and every day that went by in the studio, we were getting closer and closer to the end, and we thought we still have no ideas. We don't know what the hell we're going to call this album. And I was really against self-titled at first. I just kind of thought it was like this lazy cop-out kind of decision. But really, the more I thought about it, I kind of started to realise it made a lot of sense for us on this release, because we've kind of been building up to this point of the past like 10 years. Because like every album has been like a learning process, and every album still will be from now on, obviously. But it kind of feels like we finally reached this point where we're like really proud to say this is like the sound that kind of defines grade 2. And we thought that's why this album feels like it is just grade 2. And when we sort of had the sound at the end of it, we realized that, and then that kind of made us happy with that decision. We were like, okay, this is grade 2. This is what we have to offer.
And that kind of echoes in the artwork as well. I think like the plan with the artwork was to have a photo cover. That's like one of my personal preferences. Like with vinyl, if you've got the band on the front, if you haven't heard the record and you can see the band, you connect in a weird way. It's like, okay, this is who I'm listening to. And when we decided to put like the stamp on it of this is grade 2, this is how we're going to present ourselves, was that logical step of, well, here's our faces as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I love that.
So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for this album?
It was different than before in the sense of having the time of the pandemic as well. So the album has been written off the back of the last one. So while we were touring in 2019, we were still writing. And some of the songs were demoed. I mean, we went through a lot of writing because it was near a 3-year span of collecting these songs. Some of them we demoed before the pandemic, so there's a bigger bunch of songs. But through the pandemic, we basically were writing in groups of 4, and then jumping into the rehearsal room when we could and kind of trying to see how they would fit if they were to be in a live set, because we're basically constantly touring. So if it doesn't work live, then it's like, this probably isn't going to be worth putting out because it's never going to fit in the set.
Yeah.
But it was constantly questioning what we had done. It was like, okay, does this intro work lyrically? does it make sense what we're trying to say?
Mhm.
So I think the time we had was the blessing, rather than our previous releases where we would have a group of songs, get really excited and be like, okay, we've got 10 songs. There's the album. Let's go record it now. Release it tomorrow. There's an album. Like, we had this time to be like, well, we can't actually do anything with it. So is it a good song? Like, do we still think it's good 3 weeks later?
Mm-hmm.
So there was a lot more songs at the end of it, and then we kind of just crunched it down, fine-tuned around 16 songs, and that was kind of, we still knew it was going to be picking and choosing from those songs, but they were the ones that we took to the studio to kind of present to everyone that was involved in the record, and it snowballed from there.
So obviously, like with the pandemic, there's the blessing of you can write as many songs as you want. There was really no time limit, but there's also like the curse of like, when do you kind of know when to stop? So like, when did you guys know when to stop and like not drive yourselves insane?
Yep.
That's a good point. But to be fair, we actually did have a natural end because we eventually did have our studio time booked in when we had to go to America. We tried to do this like a year ago, or even before that. It was about a year into the pandemic. We tried to fly out to America and book this like desperate attempt to record the album during the pandemic. And that didn't work because it was during COVID and we had to cancel the flight and everything. But so we had this extra year, and yeah, luckily for us, I think it was about the whole 2 years, and then it came to its natural close. I wouldn't really say we had like too much time, but we started like over analyzing. I think we sort of had the perfect amount of time where we ended up with I think we had about 16 songs we went in with, didn't we, Sid? But we said like, okay, these are 16 songs we would happily release. And then there was probably about another 20 which were like, you know, okay, maybe you could take something from them. Yeah. But I see what you're saying, Shane. I think that's an important thing, is like not to over analyze your music, because that's a really easy thing to do. And I think we kind of just by luck kind of found the perfect balance during that time.
Well, that's good, because obviously we speak to some artists where it's like they were pulling their fucking hair out because they're like, there's no end in sight and I can't write new music, so I just have these songs that I keep looking at, you know?
Oh, don't get me wrong, I feel that as well. I mean, after this album, when we got home, I go through waves of songwriting. I'm like up on cloud 9 sometimes, and then I'm just like down for sometimes months at a time where like I can't write a single thing, and like it's the most frustrating thing, but you always come out of it. It's always just like a wave. You got to just ride it.
Absolutely.
So what song off this album took longest to write, and which one is your personal favorite?
Longest to write.
I would probably say it was Under the Streetlight, but it wasn't in terms of us like building it. I mean, I had lyrics on my notes for months, and the chorus that's actually ended up in the song I felt was a verse. So I was constantly trying to finish this like set of lyrics before bringing it to rehearsal, and it wasn't until we were just like, there's a period when we rehearse, it's like we'll do what we're there to do, and then it's kind of just we'll dick around for a bit doing whatever. And we come up with this chorus, and I was like, I think it's a cool verse. Jack said it was a chorus. I think that's when we started to build the song. So I think that was probably the one that took the longest to kind of actually finish.
And what was funny about that as well, Sid, was that the verse, which ended up being the actual verse, was unfinished lyrics, so we just repeated it twice. And actually, that's what we ended up doing in the song, because we realised that's what makes it more hooky. We were like, we need to finish. For the longest time, we just had the verse repeated again. We were like, we'll think of new lyrics eventually. And it never came. And we thought, why don't we just keep it? Actually, it's just catchy having it twice.
Yeah.
And it worked in the end. I was really happy that we ended up keeping that. I thought that helped the song a lot.
Hell yeah.
Favorite song? Oh, that's a tough question. I'll let you go first, Jack. With your favorite song.
Okay, I think my heart wants to say Midnight Ferry, but really I think it's Fast Pace. I think Fast Pace is my favorite. Unreleased at the moment, but when this comes out, I'm sure it'll be out to the world. Yeah, it's just, I just love it. It's just such a catchy. I'm just all about like really catchy, repetitive kind of hooks, and I think it's a song that we haven't done something like that before with a song, and I think we managed to do it quite well. So I was really happy with that one.
I'd say a song from the B side. It's called "It's a Mad World, Baby." I'd say that's my favorite song. It's my it was my mindset during the pandemic of basically questioning everything of where my life was at and wondering if everything I was doing was leading me somewhere or if I was just at a complete dead end. So I feel like every time we rehearse that one or when we are rehearsing it now, it's kind of like a relief. It's like, there we go. That's my song right there.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. So how'd the track list for the album come about? Did you guys write the opener be the opener, closer be the closer? Did you shuffle around and see what fits? What was that process like?
Oh, the track listing was a funny one actually because we got sent back in a kind of random order that our sound engineer TJ sent to us, and I think he just sent it kind of in his preferred order, and we were like, "This is quite a good list, actually." We were listening it through, we were like, "I don't know if I changed much about this," and I think we made a couple minor adjustments, but more or less, I think we actually kept it pretty much how TJ sent it to us. So hats off to you, TJ.
Shout out TJ.
Damn,
Yeah,
right.
Make your job
I
easy.
think, yeah. Do you remember how much we changed it, Sid? I think we just made a couple of adjustments.
I think the only thing that was said in the studio when we were kind of making it was Judgment Day was always going to be the opener. That was like the one song, like everyone was on the same page of that's how the record opens.
Yeah.
And the second one was See You Around was going to end the record because we have that kind of Hammond organ that fades out. But then the idea came that a lot of our audience listens on vinyl, so we were going to go with a bonus track just because we couldn't narrow down the track listing and kind of wanted to fit an extra song on.
Mm-hmm.
But then we realised as that Hammond organ fades, we bought in Bottom Shelf to finish the record. So it kind of starts with chaos and ends with chaos. And it just like, if you were to listen to it going round, it's kind of like a complete circle.
All right. With Bottom Shelf kind of feels like almost a hidden track on the record because of like the way that last track fades out and it holds for a second. I thought that was super cool because that's like no bands do that anymore in the age of streaming. Yeah.
It's kind of the intention, wasn't it? Like an unofficial hidden track.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. So would you be able to tell us where Headspace is at while you were creating this record?
Cloud9, completely stressed.
Oh.
Do I even know how to write a song? Wow, I'm the greatest bass player. I hate the bass guitar.
Yeah, a lot of ups and downs.
Sad about making a record happened in making this one. I can laugh about it now, but at the time I was like, "Oh my god! Like, what are we doing?"
The pressure was a lot, wasn't it? Because I mean, because we had so much time to think about it, the pressure did start to build. And meanwhile, we were working at like Tesco's, which is like just a supermarket, working night shifts. And things were looking very bleak, but that did spark some good inspiration. Hence, Doing Time and other songs definitely came from that. But yeah, I think the pressure of the whole thing was quite a lot, but I think that brought the best out in us as well. I quite, as much as I lost a lot of sleep over it, I also think the pressure brought out the best in us and made us write some of the best music we ever have. So I'm grateful for that in the long run.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I think it's become like off the back of releasing the previous record, and then when all of the touring was cancelled, people kind of discovered us through the pandemic of just like random playlists, and there was a few other bits that we did throughout like a live stream. I think we all kind of said to each other, it's like we had this momentum that kind of built with the release of the last record, so we knew it was like we had to come back and do something that was a step up. So I think there, like when Jack was saying about the pressure, is that a pressure amongst the three of us of like, okay, this has to be good, like whatever we do. So it was more the fact of just questioning what we were doing, like we were saying earlier with the time and doing the demoing, of just like, is it as good as the last record? But we want it to be that step up from the last record. So I think although there was like the waves of emotions of writing, it was all for the greater good of the songwriting.
That
Yeah.
makes sense.
How did you stay motivated? Because as you said, you're a touring band. You're writing this in the pandemic. You're putting that pressure on yourself to kind of, we have to do better than the last record because we have more eyes on us now. And you said you were very stressed writing this. How did you keep that momentum up with actually like writing and creating it?
I
I
guess
think
we
that's
tried to keep ourselves busy, didn't we? Like, I mean, we would do little things to try spark just to keep us playing and just remind us that this band is still a thing, like
Mm.
we did a live stream during the middle of the pandemic that got us rehearsing again, that got us excited to release something new. We did an acoustic album just recorded in my bedroom, again, just little projects just to kind of like keep the fire lit, even if it was just a little bit, just a sort of reminder of where we're at. And don't get me wrong, like we had our down moments, like I think at the very start of the pandemic we all got quite separated and quite, I wouldn't necessarily say depressed, but like it was looking that way where everyone was really just not feeling themselves for a good 6 months or so.
Yeah.
But we brought it back because it's all we have. Like we were never going to let it slip. That was never an option, and we all knew that. We knew it was just a period. And I think that's what keeps us motivated, is that in the back of our minds, me and Sid always know that nothing's stopping this, no matter what. We're going to do it until we fail or we die, basically. So that was kind of the mindset, I suppose. Yeah.
All right. So how do you recommend your fans to listen to this album for the first time? Should they do it in the car with friends, in the dark with headphones on? Is it a workout album, party album? What do you personally recommend?
All of the above, I'd say. Why not?
Yeah. I would echo that. I don't think there's like a specific way to be listened to it. I think I've listened to it doing all of that. Like double checking through the record. I just think like it's one of those ones that it will fit the occasion.
On your way to work in the morning, get you motivated.
Get you hyped up.
Yeah, get ready.
Yeah, absolutely. So this one should be super, super quick. Off the top of your heads, I want you guys to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. 3 words each. No more, no less. It's 6 total.
Oh Christ! Can we like complete each other's sentences? Like make a 6-word sentence.
Honestly, we've never had that question.
If you guys
before.
have the power of like telekinesis and you can read each other's minds, that's cool with me.
I go for it.
I mean, no, okay. I'll let Sid go.
All right, 3. Absolutely bloody brilliant.
Hell yeah.
Love it.
Oh mate, well, how can I top that? Oh shit,
Please say they're not your 3 words of choice.
Oh shit, Oh, okay, all right. Catchy, melodic, punk rock is 1 word.
All right. Sounds good.
Perfect. I'll take it.
So in that same train of thought, is there a certain feeling or emotion you want listeners to have while going through the album?
I think that the album talks a lot about different scenarios. I think that will be what resonates with people. I think it can go from anywhere of just like your social life to your work life. And there's even elements of love songs in there. So I wouldn't say that there's one particular emotion that will come from it, but I think it will run the listener through all of their natural emotions in the way that they live as well. I think that's like one thing that we try and aim for. It's like we're all the same. Like we all do the same things, like we all live the same life, and it's hitting the nail on the head with all of those subjects. So I think it's more of the personal element that will resonate with everyone.
Makes sense.
So are you able to tell us about a favorite memory that you made while creating this record?
Jack getting held by the TSA for 7 hours while coming into the US before we even started the record.
Oh my God, that's a rough start.
Yeah, that was quite literally the most terrifying moment of my life, actually.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we thought we could get away with tourist visas because we thought we're not on tour, so we're not getting technically paid.
Oh, that tourist visas were okay because we weren't technically being paid for work, so that we could go as tourists. But that was the complete wrong advice.
Yeah, so Sid and Jacob got through fine at the border, and I got questioned by somebody who clearly had it out for me. And he just started digging, and I started shaking and getting nervous, and he
Oh.
knew straight away something was up, and he sent me to this basically an interrogation room, and I had to sit
Oh.
and wait. I had to sit and wait for 5 hours, and they didn't tell me nothing. I wasn't allowed to use my phone, and Sid and Jacob were just waiting for me, thinking, "Where the fuck is Jack? What's going on?" And the whole time you're just in your head thinking, "Am I going to tell him?" I was convinced that I could carry on lying and just be like, "Oh, I'm here on holiday. It's fine." But straight away they just got it out of me when they called me up after 5 hours. Um, he got it out of me. He was very intimidating, and I was like, "Listen, this is it. Like, I thought I could do this, but I can't." And then in the end, he was like, "Okay, well, you got the wrong visa. You're going to have to go home." And I thought that was it. The album was over.
Oh.
Everything building up to this was crushed, and I was literally like in this crazy belief that it was all over. And then he just lets me off at the last minute.
What?
Yeah. I think he just had pity on me because I think he just saw this like nervous guy who's just trying to make an album. I'm not like a terrorist. I'm not trying to sneak in drugs, but just trying to make some music. Like
Yeah.
and I think he must have just pitied me. He was like, "Listen, I'll let you off. Just go and get out of it." And I was like, "Oh my god."
Well, that's a start. Holy shit!
That's how we started. And I was literally, I came out the airport shaking. Like,
that's
Rightfully
crazy.
so. Damn.
yeah. But
Oh my
next time I'm gonna get the right visa.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Wow.
Whoa. Damn, I hope that doesn't happen again.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah.
That really sucks.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm never going again without the proper visa. They scared me into it, so that it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So picture this: you're on tour, you're at a gas station for a rest stop. What is your snack of choice?
Oh,
Ooh.
a flat white, and well,
What was-
I guess it depends where you are, but I think the important thing is not to pay for anything when you're at petrol stations. You just got to walk in, act like you bought something, and just walk out with it.
Well, that's one way to save money on tour.
Because you have to save your money on tour, and petrol stations.
Absolutely.
Think about it, you'll never go in there again.
Yeah.
Just to
And
clarify.
they're just some corporate chain. They're not bothered about it. The person behind the till is working minimum wage. They're not going to stop you.
No.
And that means the snack will taste better. Whatever you get, it doesn't matter.
Because it's free. Yeah.
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 I'll
What's like
take hobby. But yeah, I'll agree on the flat white coffee and 2 croissants. That's me.
All right.
And
What's
I
like the-
pay.
Sid pays me.
Oh, you pay?
Yeah, I'm not going to go around bloody shoplifting.
I'm trying to convert them over.
Exactly.
Not right.
All that change will add up soon. Come on.
I know.
Mhm.
I'm a rich man. If I was, I probably wouldn't be stealing coffees.
Good point. So on the topic of food, if the band was a dish, what dish would the band be and why?
Ah, we've had this question before. Oh, kimchi.
Oh, okay.
Kimchi with what should we be with, Sid?
Kimchi and Szechuan beef.
Yeah.
There we go.
All right.
Hell yeah.
We're not Asian, but we pack a punch.
Sounds good.
All right. That's a tagline.
So for the last couple questions, we're gonna shift completely away from music and go straight to death row.
Boom.
So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Ooh.
Kimchi with Szechuan beef and a flat white.
Nice. All right.
Perfect.
Yeah, I probably would stick with a Szechuan beef.
Actually, oh my god. Well, at least like your band is your favorite meal. That's awesome.
Yeah. It's been a bit. So Jacob, our drummer, his meal, we went out once and he got Szechuan beef, and he said to us, "It's like this is what you need to try." And he has slowly been converting everyone he knows to try this dish, and I've got to admit I'm fully converted. He's got me hooked. Egg fried rice, chicken satay skewers. That is the dish of dreams right there.
Oh my God. Absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Wow. Hell yeah. So if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Harry Potter, 100%.
What house are you?
He's a Harry
Oh,
Potter fan.
yeah, I'll be Gryffindor all the way. Although I took a
Gryffindor?
test and it said I was Hufflepuff, but I don't believe it.
Oh, you got something against Hufflepuff.
Oh no, I've got a
Damn, okay. All right.
Jack.
In a fictional world, I'd love a day in the life of Patrick Star.
Oh,
That's
nice. Bikini Bottom, living under a rock.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I think he lives a good life.
Hell yeah.
Does. Carefree.
So I have the honor of asking the last question. Every single person that we've spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
It is racing green
Ooh.
Nice.
colour.
Hell yeah.
Right there.
I think I've actually got a new favorite color. It's neon pink, which is really lame, but I think it's just great.
Oh, that's not lame at all. It's a
Yeah.
very bold color.
Yeah, I just love bold, powerful colors.
Hell yeah.
Love it.
Neon pink.
Every day right here.
So as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you guys would like to plug?
Just our tour coming up would be the main thing. We're touring the UK in March. We're playing pretty much everywhere, so keep an eye out for us. Come along, and we're also touring Europe in April. Oh, and America in May.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
We're gonna be everywhere over the next 3 months. So keep an eye on our touring schedule. Come to a show. We're coming to you.
All right.
hell yeah.
Well, thank you for silence, guys. Been Sid and Jack from grade 2, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.